Listen to this common sense from James chapter 3, verse 13. Do you want to be counted wise? To build a reputation for wisdom? Okay, is that you? Are you a candidate for this? Then James says, here's what you do. All right, listen. He says, live well, live wisely, live humbly. Underscore this, and it's the way you live, not the way you talk, that counts, okay? Don't you just love the way James layers his teaching? I mean, he's already talked about, the way we talk ought to match the way we walk, and faith without works is dead. He's already talked about wisdom, but if you didn't get that in chapter 1, he's going to talk about it in chapter 2. If you don't get it in chapter 2, here it is again in chapter 3. And then he says, mean-spirited ambition isn't wisdom. Boasting that you're wise isn't wisdom. Twisting the truth to make yourself sound wise isn't wisdom. It's the furthest thing from wisdom. Whenever you're trying to look better than others or get the better of others, things fall apart and everyone ends up at the other's throats. Real wisdom. All right, here's where we're going to camp. Real wisdom, God's wisdom, begins with a holy life and is characterized by getting along with others. What's a holy life? What's wisdom? It's somebody who knows how to get along with other people. It's gentle and reasonable, overflowing with mercy and blessings, not hot one day and cold the next, not two-faced. And here's what happens. Here's the end result of this. James says, you can develop a healthy, robust community. And we could insert these things. You can develop a healthy, robust church, or a healthy, robust nation, or a healthy, robust home that lives right with God and enjoy its result only if you do the hard work, and it is hard work, of getting along with each other, treating each other with what? With dignity and honor. Wisdom isn't something that comes out of your lips. It's something that shows up in the way you live your life. And then he tells us what a lack of wisdom looks like, what wisdom isn't. He says, wisdom isn't mean-spirited ambition. It's not boasting to somebody that you're wise. It's not twisting the truth to make yourself sound wise. It's not trying to look better than everybody else. Does some of that sound familiar to you? Maybe you work with somebody like that. You go to school with somebody like that, or you play on the same ball team with somebody like that. So how do you build a reputation for wisdom? James sums it up perfectly in verse 17. This is where we'll spend all of our time today. First of all, he says, if you want to build a reputation for wisdom, what's the first thing he says? Live a holy life. Real wisdom, God's wisdom, he says in verse 17, begins with a holy life. That's the starting point. If we're living a holy life, then we're not going to compromise our integrity. We're going to be honest in our conversation. We're going to be trustworthy in our dealings. Never going to be deceitful or misleading to others. Our yes is going to be yes, and our no is going to be no. You know what? It's easy to trust somebody like that. People, Proverbs 10:9, people with integrity have firm footing, but those who follow crooked paths will slip and fall. People with integrity have firm footing. In other words, they never have to backtrack. They're never afraid of slipping up because they told somebody one thing, but they've told somebody else a different story. All right? Second, if you want to build a reputation for wisdom, you've got to get along with others. Look at the next part of verse 17. Real wisdom, God's wisdom, begins with a holy life and is characterized by getting along with others. Proverbs 20 verse 3 calls them fools. Any fool can start arguments, The wise thing is to stay out of them. Live a holy life. Get along with others. Third, if you want to build a reputation for wisdom, be gentle and reasonable. Real wisdom, God's wisdom, begins with a holy life and is characterized by getting along with others. It is gentle and reasonable. Let me ask you, is that you? Is that you? Or are you the kind of person that has all the answers? Proverbs 12:15 says, fools think they need no advice, but the wise listen. The wise listen to others. Look at this verse in Romans chapter 15. Those of us who are strong and able in the faith need to step in and lend a hand to those who falter. And not just do what is most convenient for us. Strength is for service, not status. Each one of us needs to look after the good of the people around us, asking ourselves, how can I help? That's exactly what Jesus did. He didn't make it easy for himself by avoiding people's troubles, but what did he do? He waded right in and helped out. He took on the troubles of the troubled. Fourth, if you want to build a reputation for wisdom, your life must overflow with mercy and blessings. When you've been wronged or someone has said something hateful against you, do you overflow with mercy and blessings? Or are you quick to demand justice? I mean Old Testament justice. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Look again at what James says. Real wisdom, God's wisdom, begins with a holy life. It's characterized by getting along with others. It's gentle and reasonable and overflowing with mercy and blessings. Here's what Ephesians chapter 4, verse 32 says. Be kind to each other, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, just as God through Christ has forgiven you. Proverbs 15:4 says, kind words heal and help. Isn't that what our world needs today? Doesn't our world need healing and helping? But cutting words wound and maim. Finally, if you want to build a reputation for wisdom, you got to be consistent. You can develop a healthy, robust community. You can develop a healthy, robust home. You can develop a healthy, robust city that lives right with God and enjoy its result only if we'll do the hard work of getting along with each other and treating each other with dignity and honor.